Good afternoon. My name is Mutton Curtis, and you are listening to WIP Philadelphia, the sounds of Philadelphia, the natural sounds of Philadelphia, the unnatural sounds of Philadelphia, and Philadelphia Brown Trousers baseball. Bit of a rocky start to the season for the Philadelphia Brown Trousers. They started off the season 3-4, but they just did have their only first home game, last evening against their opponents today, the Milwaukee Dutchmen. And of course, the Brown Trousers were not able to get that win. They fell to the Dutchmen by a score of 4-2. Nonetheless, this is game 2 of this 3-game series. And of course, as we will discuss when we get to the field and the game begins, we have some other awards that are on the line in this series, as has been agreed to through a gentleman's agreement by both teams. The old-timey baseball promenade trophy shall be awarded to the winner of, I understand this series. We'll bring on the commissioner in just a bit to get the understanding of it. But right now, let's go down to our PA announcer for the starting lineups of both teams.
Good afternoon, and welcome to 30th Street Park in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. To all you Johns and Janes, this is the Milwaukee Dutchmen versus the Philadelphia Brown Trousers. And at this point, we would like to introduce the starting lineup for the visiting team, the Milwaukee Dutchmen. Batting first, the third baseman, number 27, Venus Jackson. Batting second, the first baseman, number 47, Nate Yourself. Batting third, the center fielder, number 45, Chesty Squiders. Batting fourth, the second baseman, number 23, Nello Buthrot. Batting fifth, the shortstop, number 10, Ben Mork Stramplison. Batting sixth, the right fielder, number 28, Bustles Muxon. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 11, Mike Gunk. Batting eighth, the left fielder, number 33, Goody Fine. And batting ninth, the starting pitcher for the Milwaukee Dutchmen, number 18, Goof Alibi. And this time, introducing the starting lineup and batting order for the Philadelphia Brown Trousers. Batting first, the left fielder, number 6, Willie Pregnett. Batting second, the first baseman, number 13, Crispy Yellow. Batting third, the right fielder, number 41, Truss Grundleson. Batting fourth, the center fielder, number 2, Dunk Ferrari. Batting fifth, the shortstop, number 4, Mickey Lice. Batting sixth, the second baseman, number 3, Poonsley Fair. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 10, Trant Sovin. Batting eighth, number 9, the third baseman, Bent Wildly. And batting ninth, the starting pitcher for the Philadelphia Brown Trousers, number 30, Hash Bothams.
And yes, at this time, it is going to be a brilliant day. I'd like to bring onto the microphone with me to join me for this game. He is the commissioner of the Governors League of American Baseball. And of course, he is enjoying the very lovely fig pops, which are all the rage at all the ballparks across the great 48 states. Wonderful to have Commissioner Charles Kavanaugh. Good to see you, Commissioner Kavanaugh.
Mr. Curtis, certainly a fine pleasure having me here today. Witness some fine baseball action to be seeing with the old-timey baseball promenade, the best of 3 series. Determine the champion of all things baseball, the old-timey baseball promenade.
Yes, a trophy shall be awarded, and it has been, I was listening, of course, to the highlight. I got to see some of the highlights at the local Nickelodeon in Philadelphia myself. Very exciting to see, along with things such as, not just seeing the Philadelphia Brown Trousers doing so well, but just to see how much baseball there is to really enjoy here in our beautiful country in the year 1919. I mean, what a world we live in 1919 to see baseball pretty much on every day of the week on a regular basis. It's beautiful.
Yes, sir. And I believe also as well, Mr. Curtis, that the giant smog rolling in from industry to industry
Yes,
turn
of
on
course.
the gas lamps due to all the smog and smoke that has been polluting all of the airs here tonight.
Yes, it's a shame, but sometimes industry is industry never takes a vacation, as they like to say. If smog is a byproduct, then so be it, unfortunately. But nonetheless, we are seeing Goof Alibi. And that is a fancy Dan double play,
A fancy Dan indeed.
putting 2 outs on the board for the Philadelphia Brown Trousers.
Caught him like a fine can of corn. One of our new sponsors to the Governors League.
Oh,
Corn.
can of corn. Oh, just corn, not even can of corn.
It's just corn. It's just corn, white letters with black lettering.
Of course, as I expect all of the products.
Printed on the finest of Indian inks.
Yes.
And available at your local marketplace or delicatessen.
In stores everywhere, might as well be saying. Well, Goof Alibi has had 1 start with a no decision. Only allowed 3 runs in that game, struck out 2. And he's facing off against Dunk Ferrari of the Brown Trousers. We haven't really seen Dunk Ferrari too much in the promenade, but he has made his way into the starting lineup for the Brown Trousers.
Now, excuse me, Mr. Curtis. I was too busy smoking the hookah last night with the Kaiser from Germany.
Oh my!
What was the outcome of the first game?
Well, the Dutchmen did take it in a rousing game. They did win by a score of 4 runs to 2 runs. And if I have my statistics sheet to tell you all about that, it was a rousing game. I believe it was tied at 1 until the 6th inning. Milwaukee took a 3-1 lead. Philadelphia got 1 back, but Milwaukee extended it to 4-2 in the 7th. I believe scoring in those games, Ben Mork Stramplerson had 2 runs batted in. Beanish Jackson and Ben Mork Stramplerson, of course, one of those was a home run. Beanish Jackson also had a home run. Willie Pregnett had a 2-run home run. And to industry!
To industry!
A home run. Willie Pregnett with that home run, but this time it is in
and the
fact.
And the most important thing is the ball kept going.
I did. That is the beauty of it. There was no wall for it to hit. The ball
kept going. The ball is still traveling. The ball should be some sort of fine public transportation.
The ball could be taking a train right out of town at this point, very now. And that was Ben Mork Stramplerson, yet another home run for Mr. Stramplerson.
You should need to get those hits inside the park. They have a limited supply of these.
That's his 2nd home run of the season and the 2nd of the series. And another double. This time it's going to be Bustles Muxon. That's off the wall, played by Dunk Ferrari.
Yes, it was in fact, I believe, the Milwaukee Dutchmen who sent the Honeyweed Cigarette Company as the last team eliminated of the Governors League during the promenade.
Yes, an easy first out, moves the runner to 3rd. And here is Goody Fine. Goody Fine for the Dutchmen. The Dutchmen have not had the best start to the Continental League season. They are 3-4. They were 2-4 prior to the win last night. But as far as it goes in the promenade, they not only knocked off the Honeyweed Cigarette Company, I believe they also knocked off the Chicago Teetotalers.
Certainly one of the finest teams here we've seen in the promenade between the Governors League and the Continental League.
Yes, and I believe the Honeyweed Cigarette Company was the 2nd team they defeated, if I recall. I'm trying to recall their first win, but nonetheless, that should be out number 3. Crispy Yellow makes the catch, and Mickey Lice with the throw. 3 big runs scored by the Dutchmen.
Now, Mr. Curtis, my question being is that I understand a couple of our fans from the Governors League are watching today. What is your ruling on the death?
On the what? I'm sorry?
I believe in the Governors League, anytime that a player leaves the game due to an injury, we take a fine musket shot to the back of the head, and then we certainly contact the family and erect a banner in their honor.
Yes, of course. Well, I can only speak of the Brown Trousers as they are, as that and the radio station affiliate are who are employing me. But I do find it's Well, it does bother me that these banners are at the ready to be erected at the time of death. In fact, sometimes even before the death is officially called for. It is a very nice gesture. I think sending a ham or a goose or a meat product of choice to the family is also a nice gesture that I've understood has happened. We never like to see injury or death in this game, which is why we do it behind curtains.
Yes, one of those fine horse and cart deliveries of Nebraska meats.
Yes. And that's a catch made by Muxon in right field. Here's Trent Sovin, the catcher for the Brown Trousers. And we'd like to see the Brown Trousers get a little bit involved in this game a little bit more so than...
And then to make it very, very competitive, very edgy, very suspenseful, much like our finest of radio dramas you have in Milwaukee, you have in the Philadelphia area, the Milwaukee. I'm not sure where I'm at.
That's fine.
It was a long night with the Kaiser, Germany, and his experimental hookah pipe. I believe we toured the desert.
That's exciting. I think that's practically a quest you went on to Stramplison. Nate yourself has not done it himself, but it is to a Fancy Dan double play.
Fancy Dan indeed.
Putting an end to the second inning, and if you don't mind, I have to help pay the bills by saying that Fancy Dan double play brought to you by Fancy Dan Follicle Products, styling salves, pomades, gelatin-based creams, and shampoos. You can put more fop in your coif with Fancy Dan, and that should be an easy pop-out foul. Caught by the catcher, Trent Sovin.
Now, one of the new Fancy Dan experimental products involving horsehair and large amounts of toxic glue.
Oh, well, it is an all-natural horse-based product. You know, the horse is, they use the hair and they use the hooves to make the glue, so it is an all-horse, all-natural.
And then you add that with the steroids, and you're practically signing him up for the Muxon Derby.
You really are at that point. You are just as much horse as you are man, and there is a tag, and a very industrious Fancy Dan by the Brown Trousers, tagging the runner from second to third, making the play at first.
Some fantastic manual labor there in that fanciest of Dans.
Yes, I haven't seen manual labor like that since manual labor.
I haven't seen manual labor like that since I went to the orphanage.
And neither of us have seen...
5 of our finest employees.
And neither of us have seen manual labor in several years after he went missing. Chesty Squiders is going to field that one in the center field. And that is going to be a single for Hash Buffums, the pitcher getting on base. That's a fantastic thing to see because it's the top of the lineup, and Willie Pregnant is going to send that one just short of the warning track for out number 1.
Willie Pregnant certainly getting the extension there, and sometimes getting the milk, and one of our other fun sponsors of the Governors League and the Continental League, Salt.
Salt, yes, Salt. I think we're going to be associating Salt with any sort of fine catches and any sort of fine fielding plays outside, of course, of the double play, which is the Fancy Dan territory. But I think Salt, I think we can say, if someone makes a fine catch, we say that catch is worth a salt. Like, there you go. Chesty Squiders, that catch over the shoulder, worth a salt. Salt. You can try it on anything. Or everything.
Now available again at your finest markets or delicatessen.
Yes, so anywhere salt is sold. That's ball 1 for Truss Grundleson. Grundleson, one of the more reliable batsmen. He's third in the lineup, was batting 5th at one point. He is batting .370 going into today's game. He's going to walk. And here is Dunk Ferrari going into today's game, batting .250. 2 for 8 on the season. Goof Alibi.
I forgot to mention that Crispy Yellow of the Brown Trousers, the brother of Went Yellow, who passed away sadly during the promenade of Went Yellow's disease.
Very sad. Of course, that was mostly due to he had aggressive leprosy, if I recall.
Yes, sir. I believe he just deteriorated right in front of us.
Yes.
The musket shot was placed into the back of his head, as is tradition, and a banner was erected in his honor. His family was notified by a Bluebird telegram company.
And of course, with a Nebraska meat of their choice.
Yes, even your finest of Nebraska meats.
And my understanding from what I read in the report of the game afterwards was that while they had to put the musket shot into the head of Went Yellow, his body was nowhere near the place of his head. My understanding, it was a good several yards away. But again, all done behind curtains. Very nice to see. Respectfully done. I must say, kudos to you, Commissioner Kavanaugh, and of course to Commissioner Brian Howard of the Continental League for tastefully narrating that incident. You know, I could listen in. I listened in on the radio, and I felt like I could just see the limbs falling off of the man, just from your descriptions. It was masterful radio work.
It was certainly quite to see. Son of the George Orson Welles variety.
Yes. And that is a fancy Dan to put a 0 on the board for the Dutchmen. And the brown trousers still yet to get a run, but it's the bottom of the 4th. And that Fancy Dan brought to you again by Fancy Dan's Follicle Products. Put more fop in your quaff with Fancy Dan.
It certainly reminds me of when I was with the Kaiser last night after smoking the hookah and driving through the desert, that we went down to the local tavern and we played a game of two-hop.
Oh, beautiful. I'm not familiar with that game.
Two-hopper is where you have two men bend over to the side. You're supposed to jump over the one man and hope your groin does not hit the back of the head of the other man ahead.
Yes, I feel like that leaves nobody a winner if that happens.
No, sir. I believe that will be consequential for future generations.
I certainly hope that is it certainly is the kind of team sport I would only expect to see in the Olympics. And hopefully that will finally become an Olympic sport alongside paddleball.
Once we get that fine boating back, we'll show the field the finest of U.S. men to the next country for their destination.
Yes, and of course you have the Kaiser support with two-hopper to as well maybe get Germany's support on bringing it into the Olympics as well. 2 outs with Bent Wildly, the third baseman. That's going to be foul, and that would have been easily fielded. Ball 1, Goof Alibi, very high in the pitch count, has thrown 60 pitches here in the bottom of the 4th, which might mean a short end to his day. That is going to keep the runner on third, but it is a single. Hash Buffums, the pitcher spot, coming up for the brown trousers.
That arm of his deteriorating, it could become a Goop Alibi by the end of this game.
Yes, I certainly hope not. That would be quite messy, and they are the away team, so that would be a bit rude to come visiting someone else's home baseball park. But to industry!
To industry!
A 3-run home run by the pitcher! Hash Buffums!
For extra steroids!
Hash Buffums, the pitcher, ties this game up with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. Bringing up Willie Pregnett.
Give that man the Nebraska meats, buy one, get one bison.
Give him the key to the city and to a freezer full of Nebraska meats. Here's Pregnett. And is caught at the warning track by Bustles Muxon, inches away from a back-to-back home run. Now that home run by Hash Buffums was to industry, brought to you by Industry Brand, fragrances, colognes, perfumes, and other items that smell good. So when you're out on the town and someone of a lovely lady's persuasion loves your scent, you just say, my dear, that's just industry.
Yes, sir, and I believe all the industry products are tested on animals.
Of course.
For quality control and to make sure to avoid poisoning.
That's how we know they work.
Because, yes, you can put lipstick on a rat.
Yes, you can. And, of course, if you've ever find some animals that smell lovely, then they have been industried. That is going to be the first out, or the second out, excuse me, and leaving the game is going to be Goof Alibi, bringing in a pinch hitter, Hofti Bagdood. A backup right fielder has been playing for a bit for the Dutchmen, but lost his spot to Bustles Muxon. But a reliable reliable fielder, reliable batsman as well. I believe he has been batting 143 on the season, only one hit, but he's been coming in when needed and taking up some pitches from Hash Buffums.
Man needs to do what he needs to do at certain times like this, when you have your pitcher not being able to hit to industry or to a fancy down. You need to come in and get the batsmen's working.
Yes, exactly. He's good. Again, it's a good role. It's a reminder that this is a team sport, and that, of course, he's going to pop out foul, unfortunately, to Tronsovin. Bringing in, I missed who that. That
was Mr. Jeff Loud.
Jeff Loud will be coming in to pitch in relief for the starter, Goof Alibi. And number 64, Jeff Loud, here in the bottom of the fifth. Going to the bullpen early are the Dutchmen.
And you can see the burns on all over his arms. He was one of those people that plays it, says he plays it loud.
Yes, he does, and I guess that's, he likes it loud, he plays it loud. He is just a man of his own name, Jeff Loud. And goodness, I don't know.
The local pyrotechnics and steelworks factory found himself arms deep in ninth degree burns all over the arms of his body.
And that's going to drop in for a double. But the center fielder and the right fielder, Muxon and Squiders, had to decide who was going to take that one, and Truss Grundleson is on second with one out.
I should also inform you as well, with all the hair and first three layers of skin that have been removed from his arm with the wind resistance, actually makes him pitch much faster. Also accompanied by another pack of Humidity wheat cigarettes to dull the pain and aerate the lungs.
Of course, yes, it is a nice pain relief. Another good thing the honey wheat cigarette brand can provide is a release from pain. And Jeff Loud's going to get out of that inning with an easy play to first base for out number 3. Top of the lineup for the Dutchman, Venus Jackson facing Hash Buffum, still in this game. It's tied at 3.
Buffum's currently the hero of Philadelphia thus far.
He is. I think I would imagine, I can imagine a statue being erected should Hash Buffums help the Brown Trousers win this promenade. They need to win, or else the Dutchmen winning today will have clinched by winning 2 games of this series, and they will, of course, win the promenade by a score of 2-0.
Yes, two games out of 3.
Yes, best 2 out of 3.
The winner of the old-timey baseball promenade.
Yes, and again, I'm glad that a gentleman's agreement was able to be reached by both of teams. You yourself, Commissioner Kavanaugh, and of course Commissioner Howard, saw that it was the best way to work this out, to make it a bit of a collaboration between the Governors League and the Continental League yet again, even in the Continental League season. That looks like a Fancy Dan opportunity. Fancy Dan for the Brown Trousers, putting a 0 on the board. And the Dutchmen unable to score ever since that second inning. Here is Poonsley Fair. Lays down a bunt. And just cannot outrun the throw. Which is made...
And an interesting strategy with the Continental League using these small batsmen.
Yes, small batsmen. And
that is the count.
Yes, Tronsovin, the very thin and limber catcher of the Brown Trousers, gets on with a single, fielded by Chesty Squiders. That is going to be foul to Bent Wildly.
And it goes without saying, the Continental League, some of the finest fancy Dans.
Well, I think it's just a sign that of how athletic American baseball players are, because I must say the Governors League, just in the same way, have some fantastic athletes and have turned some of the fanciest Dans and have gone long over the fence to industry as well. And looks like Tiddly Benetti will be coming in, so the end of the day, after 6 innings, for Hash Buffums. I think both Buffums and Alibi have a no decision as it is tied up, so we are going to be seeing how this plays out. Basically a 3-inning game now.
It also been noted some of the best players of the Governor's League, including Wingspan Mazo, who is now the father of 3 children.
Since the games.
Since the games, yes, all 3.
Well, congratulations to him and to, you said to your wife.
Yes, I let him do it.
Oh, well, congratulations to all of you.
For genetic superiority.
Well, hopefully,
There are some things that Wingspan Mazo has that I do not, and this way we can pass it on for future generations.
Well, I certainly look
for the benefit
forward
of mankind and to industry.
To industry, indeed. Well, I look forward to the 1940 and 41, perhaps, Governor's League, and seeing a new family, a new team of Mazos taking the field.
Yes. Hopefully we'll see the lifespan increase to 40 thanks to Wingspan Mazo.
Perhaps even one of them shall be named Lifespan Mazo. Willie Pregnant up at the bottom of the 7th for the Brown Trousers, facing Jeff Loud, who again covered in burns from working at the pyrotechnics factory. I believe that is gunpowder and mostly gunpowder and colored powder.
Yes, sir. Again, 9th degree to burns on the
yes,
on
9th degree burns. Peeling back some of the skin.
Much like when you use a flamethrower on a small ballpark hot dog.
Yes, of course.
Frankenfurter.
Yes, just makes me very hungry for those ballpark Frankenfurters. And that is caught out by Chesty Squiders. However, it moves the runner to third base. And here is Dunk Ferrari, who's going to come out for Greep Barlow. Greep Barlow, the pinch hitter for Dunk Ferrari. And he's going to ground that one right to... And he outruns it, so that will put the Brown Trousers in the lead by a score of 4-3. The Fancy Dan was not made in time, and it brings...
Not fancy enough.
It was not fancy enough. It was only a fielder's choice. So 1 run shall score in the bottom of the 7th, and the Brown Trousers still alive in this promenade, which makes for a very interesting game tomorrow night. Mike Gunk is going to come out for Max Beef, and that's going to move Greep Barlow to center field.
And the hairs on all of our bodies standing up here. We're not talking about the Fancy Dan products.
Yes,
obviously. Some great, again, fantastic baseball afternoon, about 8th afternoon of baseball with the lights on due to the impending industry smoke and smog.
Yes, it is a smoke out, I believe, a gray out as they would call it.
Yes, sir. Not to the conditions of calling the game, but still,
no.
With the lights on, still able to see all
yes,
right.
And look at this capacity crowd here at 30th Street Park as the closing pitcher is coming in. Hooges.
I believe Booty Quook's coming in as well for the...
that was Booty Quooks. Excuse me, that was Booty Quooks coming in for the pitcher spot. You're absolutely right. I saw the booed part, and I thought that was the closing pitcher, but it is 2 outs.
Well, when I was with the Kaiser last night, I saw his booed part. Must say it's quite a gentlemanly thing.
Yes. Of course, that was a ghost during the two-hopper game. And Booty Quooks going to come out for Jonathan Mushboy. Yet another pitching change for the Dutchmen. Going into the bullpen for the 2nd time after Jeff Loud coming in. And Rob Dobster going to come in at catcher for Max Beef.
There's some players moving around, looking for defense, trying to hold off, just keep it within the one run.
Yes, an interesting style to put in a pinch hitter for the catching spot, and then only to put a backup catcher in there. But it is good to have Rob Dobster. I think Rob Dobster and Mike Gunk, a very close 1 versus 2. It's not very clear who is a starter and who is a backup for the Dutchmen. They both are very capable, and it's good to have a solid backup catcher on your bench. Of course, with 2 outs. The Brown Trousers would love to extend this lead. 2 outs. Here is Bent Wildly.
I should also know that Rob Dobster, one of the finest people along the coast of Carolinas. In fact, He lived just off the coast of Cheddar Bay, lived in a lighthouse until he was 16, and then had to operate it until his 20s.
Oh, wow, he was a lighthouse operator. Fantastic news about that. We learned so much about these visiting teams.
26 ships were wrecked while he was under watch. There was no other man that we could replace him with.
Wow, it's unfortunate. But
goes to Cheddar Bay.
I guess there's no way to, well, I guess as they say, if you want to make an egg omelet, you have to break a couple of eggs, and there's no way better to learn for this. Well, 2 outs already for Tiddly Benetti, looking to get a save opportunity. And that is going to go through his legs for a single, putting the tying run on first. Greet Barlow is catching that, and now the tying run, the go-ahead run is at the plate. It is Benmark Stramplison, who has already hit a home run today, and that's going to be foul with some vigor. He swung that one. 2 strikes. This is a very important pitch. It should be fieldable. Wildly makes the throw to yellow. It is the game-ending play. The Brown Trousers, hurrah, huzzah, take the win. And to industry indeed, Commissioner Kavanaugh.
To industry indeed, so this way, this will be a third game they'll be playing, I believe, tomorrow night.
Yes, the third game will
to
be
determine
for
the winner of the
trophy.
old-timey baseball promenade. The finest of bronze trophies will be given to our winner.
That beautiful bronze trophy. I'm very glad that you allowed us to have it here in the radio broadcast studio to take a look at it. It is a fine specimen of a trophy, and that will be presented to the winning team tomorrow. And by a win today, again, the line score for all of you scoring at home, you will see it in your afternoon papers, of course. The Milwaukee Dutchmen, 3 runs off 7 hits. The Philadelphia Brown Trousers, 4 runs off 10 hits, and of course that game-winning run scored in the 7th inning, and that will lead this series tied at 1, with the winner of the game tomorrow evening between the Brown Trousers and the Dutchmen winning the baseball promenade. And the win goes to Tiddly Benetti, who pitched 3 innings in relief, only allowed 2 hits and 0 runs. Jeff Loud gets the loss. Unfortunately, he pitched 3 innings. Very solid relief pitch effort. 1 strikeout, 4 hits, but 1 earned run allowed. Unfortunately, that is enough to get the loss in this game. Bit harsh on the statistics, but that is statistics. They have no emotions. And Jonathan Mushboy coming in for relief. No decision on him, or alibi, or Buffums. Well, Commissioner Kavanaugh, we have a thing here, thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to you for getting the Continental League in touch with the Honeywheat Cigarette Company for the Honeywheat Tobacco finest dandies of the day.
Yes, indeed. Looks like we have 3 of our finest dandies here today.
Yes.
Charles Gunderson for Philadelphia, the 3rd finest dandy, 2 for 3 with a double. Benmark Stramplison with 2 for 4 with a home run and 2 RBIs and runs scored. And Hash Buffums with a fine fancy down of a home run for the pitcher. Pip pip and a huzzah to him. 2 for 2 with a home run, 3 RBIs, tying the game and causing this game to go to a Game 3 for the old-timey baseball promenade.
Yes, he did in fact get the tying home run, and it says something of his ability that he was the starting pitcher, and the stats they give for him had got him the finest dandy of the day, again brought to you by the Honeywheat Tobacco Company, were his batting prowess. 2 for 2, a home run. That was for 3 runs to tie up the game against the Dutchmen, and of course the go-ahead run scored in the 7th inning. I believe that was, in fact, if I look to my my score sheet, I believe that was scored by Willie Pregnet, who outran a fancy Dan double play and allowed the winning run to score. Well, Commissioner Kavanaugh, that is it's been fantastic to have you. I do hope you join us again tomorrow evening for the decider, as you will be there to award the trophy to the winning team, will you not?
Yes, sir. I'll be here tomorrow night. I believe the game, in fact, being playing from the Philadelphia grounds.
Yes, the 30th Street Park, this beautiful, untouched field of grass that we decided, well, what a perfect place to build a ballpark. Nothing else could fit better here on 30th Street in Philadelphia than a baseball park. I can't imagine anything that would be better fitted here. But that will be the location tomorrow evening. We hope you join us here on WIP, that is Radio Philadelphia, the sounds of Philadelphia. For Commissioner Kavanaugh, I'm Mutton Curtis, and we'll see you, Johns, back here tomorrow evening.